And it is Wednesday once again, as if it comes on every single week. Welcome to Trekyards Mission Briefing, a weekly dose of Starship goodness. A ship from the Trek versus Prime, not Prime, canon, same thing. Well, no, it's not. Side universe, fan design, all the variations we look at on this show. And today is one of those odd exceptions to potentially many rules. Stuart, how you doing? What are we doing today? And are you excited? Because this has been a requested ship.
I'm doing very well. And yes, you're right. This has been a very much requested ship. It seems to be very polarizing ship. You either love this design or you hate it. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Chariot class, as designed by Chris Rees.
And honestly, we do talk, obviously, outside of the show about what we think about ships, but we've seen this for years now. I don't know if I've actually asked you, what do you think? I'm eager to hear, what do you think about this design? Because it pops up pretty often on the Trekyards group and people go nuts and say both sides. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, I think it's a nice step outside the normal design parameters of a Federation starship anyway. And it just... I mean, I love the way it looks, but I need to know a reason for why they would do that. It has been... We do know that it's listed as a transporter tug.
Okay.
So whether that has design influences for what's going on, I don't know. But I think it's a fantastic looking design. I think it looks kind of neat.
Yeah, you kind of stole my wording there. My comment would be, why? You know, form should follow function, and bring it back to Discovery for a second. We said, okay, the design's very strange, the things rotate, the hull and saucer, form follows function, there's a reason, there was a reason, so same thing here. What's the reason? Because it is a completely, it looks like a Star Wars ship with tacked on red and blue glowy parts. You know what I mean? It's very much a non-Star Trek design, and yet it still does have all of the Star Trek components. It really is a very, very faithful Star Trek ship, just in a completely different form. And that's why I think people do and don't like it. It is still a Star Trek ship, and yet differently the same. And I certainly think it's... this first view is excellent, I think. This is when it looks its best. Because you see all those familiar bits. It has a great, intriguing feel. Kind of looks fast and maneuverable. Although, straight away, the scale... the slither of the bottom spine. Is it one room thick with a turbolift shaft? It looks so impractical to be that thin,
I don't think it's very thin. It looks thin from that angle, but I know other views it's kind of... So let's go to the next picture. This... I don't know. It's one of those ships that from some angles just looks super fantastic, thinking outside the box. And other shots, it's like, why would you do this? This is one of those shots. I don't know what purpose this whole design has. It looks very much like a sea creature, designed to slice through water or whatever, but I don't know, man.
It looks very misproportioned from this angle. And for some reason, the way I see it, it looks like a gun. Like you put your hand in that back bit, and then the saucer flies out. It's like a firing frisbee gun, like a frisbee in a revolver sort of gun. I don't know, but I absolutely love those warp engine designs. I think those are absolutely terrific. Very outside yet inside the box. I do like that back curve on the bottom bit, but again, you're losing so much space. And again, you've got escape pods in the bottom. It just feels like it's one room thick or two rooms thick, and then there's escape pods. Just make it thicker. It just... Yeah, it certainly can't land. Although the saucer surely should split and surely should land. That'd be the easy one.
If you go to the next picture, it's from the side, and it kind of falls apart for me a little bit. It looks more like a a starbase or something from the side than it does a
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Especially the bulkiness on the top, because they've got like a additional spine and kind of a front module on the top of the saucer there. It just, why? I mean, this was drawn obviously for its appearance. I don't think it was purposely built or thought out to be a specific purpose. I mean, this looks cool. Let's draw this.
Yes.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
Function follows form. I mean, but then again, the form is awesome. Like it feels so cohesive. You know, the you can tell the grooves, the curves have all been worked out. Or this side view, it doesn't look as if the other views would look, with it being actually as straight as it is on the front angles, as in the secondary neck hull. And the saucer certainly has two components, but the back bit is very much the Enterprise E. You know, right at the back of the bridge module, as in the whole zone of the bridge module. There is that bit that just doubled it up and had a double module. I mean, it kind of. I mean, what it really should, I guess, say, and I hadn't thought this until right now, is it's an alien designer has come into the Federation. I mean, it's not a Starfleet, Terran, Andorian, Tellarite concept. It's an alien that, you know, was new to the Federation and brought this as a new concept. I mean,
that makes sense too, and that's a complaint I've heard a lot over the years.
but this
why
ship
are all
or just in general?
no, just ships in general. Like, why are they all named after, Earth ships or Earth places or whatever? You know, why not? Why wouldn't there be aliens involved? And in FASA, there are Andorian designed ships like the Andor class, which have a kind of a unique look, which would be based around how they built their ships at the time before joining the Federation. So yeah, I think that's a great answer to why this looks the way it does. But still, the Federation wouldn't just let them do it without having a purpose behind it. I mean,
well, unless it was meant to be something like a unique, not necessarily a diplomatic ship, but a ship that they gave this alien race the reins and said, "Hey, you build this. You know, you're wonderful scientists. Build a ship your way. Obviously, incorporate our technology. Hence, why there's still familiar warp engines, which are kind of almost just stuck on. Like, it would have been cool to see them integrated into the weirdness of the shape, you know, rather than sort of and they said, you know, build this ship, design it, build it, and then show us that you can do it better. And they come up with this, and everyone's like, wow, it's so 3D, and it can go warp 11.6. Wow, we really are crap at ship design, aren't we?
one thing that comes to my mind for a purpose for this ship, perhaps, is it's designed specifically for a specific scientific research project. It needs that kind of profile to infiltrate a certain nebula or something and get maximum scanning coverage or something. I mean, I can see some kind of purpose like that behind the design. Tactically, this ship I don't think works because the one torpedo to the side and it's so thin. I mean, it's done, right? So I think it's more of a scientific kind of purpose built.
I mean, we talk about how there's a warp bubble, but in some versions of Shields and in other sci-fi shows, Shields, you can go from the bubble effect into something that follows the contours of the hull, and obviously that takes less power to generate because you're much more, you know, into the hull. So you can imagine, I'm thinking straight away to Dr. Crusher, and when their lore and those guys, they did the whole sun shielding grid thing, and they survived being in the sun. I'm picturing for some reason this is the sort of ship that, okay, based on the contours of this hull, which is super unique, that's where a certain amount of warp power, certain amount of, you know, and power. With this shape, it can survive 300 times longer. Just the way the hull, the way the geometry is, you know, thin, but yet sharp, you know, sort of lines, and therefore it's designed to, you know, scientificize stars and such phenomenon. You know, that's what I'm getting potentially in my nonsense made up.
And if you go to the next picture, it's a shot of it from the front, and here it looks really cool. I mean, this looks neat. You could chop the bottom off, and it would still look very cool. You don't really need that long fin at the bottom. But yeah, going back to what you said, I mean, this kind of shape from the front is much more slicey through things. Like you could go through a sun or something, or who knows what else.
Another possible would be that perhaps the top layer, the primary hull, is obviously for living quarters and such, but maybe the bottom part of the hull, the absolute tip, is designed to actually drop down to, say, a gaseous phenomenon, a gas giant, and it can survive and do sensory readings. Yeah, exactly. So you know, they're putting all the shield power focusing through the hull. That's why the deflector's pretty big for the size of the ship. You know, it's a pretty chunky deflector. So I can see that being quite interesting. It's like, you know, dedicated, you know, like you say, anomaly surfing where you just dip your toe in, and all you need is that toe, because you can detect it all from the toe. But I don't know about you, but this front view kind of gives me a Cloud City vibe.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Slasher 2000, not 2001. Independence Day. The top bit is the Independence Day ship. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Slash, I guess, the Y wing. Yeah, the Y wing, the one with the, you know, it's very much a
B wing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Next shot is from the back. Here, it looks like they have a lower shuttle bay down there. At least that's what it looks like. Maybe there's a little door there.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not. There's definitely ones on the saucer.
Oh right. Oh sure. Huh.
It looks like there's actually 3 separate bays on the saucer. One large one on the left, and then 2 smaller ones.
Very Enterprise D of it. See, this is funny. You suddenly see all the details that we recognise. I mean, if you look at that little bit of, you know, secondary hull, it looks very much like the Ambassador class, the way it curves back, and then just stick on these 2 impulse engines. And the top there's RCS thrusters, and there's impulse drives, and there's that back port with the Enterprise Z and stuff. And there's all these things at the bottom. Kind of has a Slave 1 vibe at the bottom, you know, Greeblies.
A little bit, yeah.
Cut off.
Yeah.
Huh.
Again, and this doesn't make it look so thin from the back. I mean, that looks pretty beefy and substantial, that fin now.
Well, yeah, you can see there's at least 2 window rooms, and all you really need is one chunky room, and then the corridor in between with stairs or turbolift, and you've got, you know, yourself something.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Ugh.
Wow. Okay.
I just clicked the next picture and I kind of like threw up in my mouth a little bit.
The top view, gentlemen and ladies and aliens. Why, Stuart? Why?
Why did I throw up in my mouth, or why this view?
Yeah. Why such a reaction, Stuart?
Well, it's ugly. That's the main reason. It's interesting that it's got like a Enterprise E era, obviously, by the detailing, but it's got a round saucer, much like we see in the Enterprise, the Ambassador class. Even the placement of the registry number and the name of the ship is very odd. Just having I don't know. Just not a fan. It should be more of a Enterprise E-shaped saucer. It might help it a little bit as far as looks go.
Maybe. I mean, this view doesn't tell you about the ship properly, because I can very much see, without knowing what the ship was, the secondary hull would connect neatly. The engines would be very short pylons, very tucked in engines. You can imagine a very normal side view from this. It's a very sort of compact Federation ship. Doesn't really show the whole longness factor, but it's very odd the fact they'd have this V shape, which it is in the Enterprise E, but very differently placed, and it's sticking in to really breaks up the shapes, and really, I'm assuming the bridge is right at the front.
That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, it looks like it's right at the front, on the top there, but at the very front.
Although, if you want to know something funny, look at the where the bridge could be. If you look at the modelling, it's offset. The line, so there's at the back of the line, the direct middle line, you got the escape pods and some panel lines and 2 long strips. If you look at the actual front bit, on one side it's got more space. It's not in line directly. It's actually, so it's technically an asymmetrical ship because it's not correctly lined up. Just
interesting
little thing, but I mean, is it telling us that they just sort of compressed an Enterprise E saucer? You know, when you go from oval to saucer, but keep that same triangle neck part, it compresses it right down. I mean, I don't know.
Now, is it just me, or does it look like? I mean, from the back view, even I kind of saw there's impulse engines on the fin part as well as just the saucer. Because if you go back to,
on the fin part,
well, on the secondary hull part, like by the nacelle struts.
Oh yeah,
looks like there's other impulse engines there.
Yeah, they're cool. I mean,
Now,
it adds to the separation idea.
yeah, absolutely. Now, if it is a transport or a cargo ship, could it be that there's extra beam emitters in that fin at the back, so it could hold more like trains of cargo behind it?
Maybe. Cool. Could be. Very sort of custom cargo containers. Sure.
But, yeah, it could be a scientific vessel or it's got to be purpose built. It definitely has to be. Yeah. The next shot is actually really cool. It's a cool looking angle. Again, the saucer looks back too far. I would kind of like it pushed forward a little bit.
Well, it's ambassador-like, isn't it? With the amount of extra rim. Yeah, this is a great view. It makes everything look deeper and thicker and stronger. This, as you said before, some angles have really great feels. I also like trying to pinpoint where the phaser strips are on the secondary fin hull. So our little ones you can see all over, but it still needs to be heavily armed. And look, there's very odd escape pod placement at the just below the struts in the curve. It's very odd, very odd location for them.
I wonder if they're specifically designed for engineering staff that have to stay till the last minute before they can eject.
Yeah. Maybe.
Or if it's just filler for detail.
Maybe. And I keep seeing these yellow pieces like on the rim of the saucer. I mean, in the Enterprise D model, 3D model, those are RCS thrusters.
Yeah.
So if those are RCS thrusters, that's a lot of thrusters. It's a very maneuverable ship by that.
Which again could speak to a very scientific mission, being very accurate and need to be very maneuverable, or a tug or a transport would work as well.
All of the above.
Next shot I kind of like, actually. I like the lighting they use here. I like the purple hue they have on the deflector. I think that looks really cool.
Yeah, it's very much like the Akira class, the original one. But the next picture, 6, is kind of a classic picture we all see. We all remember that, always the posted image, and it's like it's elegant in its own way. It defies the whole top heavy thing of space because it's not a thing. Why should it be? But the engines are great and the fin. I mean, it looks cool. Just oddly, you want to know why.
Yeah, exactly. And then you see that you can see the upper part where the bridge probably is. It's right front and center there. It looks odd again. It doesn't look like it belongs on a Federation ship.
Yeah. But really good deflector, like you say. I mean, it always sticks out to me as this is a damn functional part of the design. They're cramming every bit of space as this dish.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Yeah.
Ooh, I like this next shot of it in there's a dry dock.
Custom dry dock as well.
Yes. It's cool how the bottom parts fold in and wow. Again, it's a great looking angle for this ship here.
Makes the top look more elegant. It kind of has the way the bridge is, has more of an NCA protector vibe.
Yeah.
With the curve, which is a good curve. Yeah, I mean, it really is as if they thought, okay, let's make a visibly, obviously Starfleet design, but use the Star Wars fighter, which has articulating arms. Let's use a flying saucer concept a bit more literally. Let's use the NSA protector. Let's use different pieces, and it does. It's an interesting concept.
You know what'd be really cool to do with this design? That lower fin part, have it be articulating. Like it slides from this position back and makes the ship look a lot more sleek from the side until it's needed for whatever purpose, and then slides down into position. I think that would look really cool, especially from the side to kind of elongate that shape.
Maybe like
I don't know.
Z shape, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And then you could also say, if this was, again, near Voyager, the engines could also articulate up, give us that classic warp vibe, and also, you know, have it all, with your idea, be a bit more condensed, a bit more built, not as everything's spraying out as far.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I don't know. It's one of those ships. I like it, but I don't at the same time. It's just...
It's so against the curve, and yet still, like I said early on, it's like it's got all the elements. But speaking of the elements it really has got, next view is this is all fans, so I mean this is a fan within a fan, but the MSD, which should give us some indication. And obviously, first of all, we see runabout for scale. Not often ever runabout being launched, so it gives you, it's a pretty decently sized ship. Although I guess for the most part, that middle bit is shuttle bay. There's not much room, although a lot of decks actually. That's more what I was thinking.
That's about what I was anticipating. Although, interestingly enough, this one's called the USS Hubble, and it's NFC instead of NCC. So maybe that gives it...
like alternate Federation. And it's got 30 decks if you go by a literal structure. But again, it's super tall. I mean, obviously more decks. It's just not very much to walk. And what are these? It's got some big rooms that are like igloos. What are they?
They look like bridges. Because there's the forward one at the front, which could be the bridge. Huh. And this other one at the neck could be the secondary bridge, because it looks like there's a separation plane right above it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's interesting.
So, yeah, I think those are bridges.
So one could be like the command bridge, one's the literal pilot bridge, and one's the battle bridge.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Huh. Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a... You know how you always see the inside... Well, whenever they show the nacelles, they look very TOS when you go inside them on these MSDs. It's same thing here, but it's upside down. I love how they did that.
That is the next bit of technology upgrade, is that, obviously.
Yes. And
upside down.
From the way the engines look, it looks like there's two sets of warp engines on each side almost.
Oh, yeah.
But
double grill.
Here, yeah.
But let's go back from it being fully realised back to its concept sketch, I believe. So last picture is what we can assume was the originator. And I've got to say, I love those engines as well. Having it be double Bassard but cut out. It kind of it feels more in line with the overall shape, with everything being these...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer this to the way the 3D model ended up. That engine shape is beautiful. I would like to see that on like an updated Sovereign class ship. I love that cutout at the bottom.
And you can connect the pylons in many, many ways. At the top, to me, bottom hung.
Yeah.
You could do a lot with that, actually. And you can flip them around, it would still look pretty good. And this is interesting because they've obviously realizing it in 3D is different, but I prefer how they've done like the escape pods. They're in zones. Obviously, we only see two, but it's in a rack of them as opposed to all over the place. Makes it feel a bit more neat. And the way I love, and this is a good artist, although I can't do this sort of drawing. I can't do perspective to save my life. I can't. But I love how he's on the panel lines, like very neat. It looks more Federation like this, you know. It has that uniform nature, which is weird that the 3D model didn't. It didn't capture that feel. Maybe because of the more different colours and such. This is a bit more monotone.
And there's subtle little differences in the deflector housing shape and little things like that when translated to the 3D model are just a little bit different and change the overall feel of it.
Yeah, I also get the feeling that the literal secondary hull goes back further in this concept version. Just a little bit, but has more of an outstretched feel. Not by a lot, but... But seriously, what a wonderful realization of 3D, though. I mean, this is a hell of a concept turn to that. But let's go back to this first picture, because it's always a good view and always a good thing. So yeah, there we go, Stuart, an audience. We looked at the famous Chariot class, famous. You know,
I'd say infamous.
Yeah, it's the Enterprise J of the 24th century. You know, you either love it or you hate it. But I think either way, we're always confused by it. But I mean, your closing thoughts, and have you learned more by actually looking at it, properly detailed, looking at it? Because that's what we do on the show.
Somewhat, yes. I mean, it is a fan design, and then the fan MSD based on that.
Yep.
Learn a little bit from that MSD, but whether that was the original artist's intention, I don't know. I just want to know the reasoning behind this ship. I would love if the designer could comment. Would be awesome if we could.
We've had that multiple times. Absolutely, let us know.
Because I'd love to know the purpose for this design, whether it is an alien design ship or whether it's scientific research vessels with certain sensor suite or something, or even just a transport or a tug. I would love to know the reasoning behind the shapes and the whole thought process that went into this. This would be a great discussion to have with the designer, because this is just one of those cool ships that really thinks outside the box. It's not like a cut and paste Federation ship at all.
It kind of says, right, you using this glue, put it all together, you're using this scissors. No, use these scissors, use this glue. You don't use any of your previous existing components. Do it my way or the highway sort of ship.
Yeah.
And yet still conforming.
Yeah. There's a few things I would change, of course, as we tend to do. I would make a few little changes, especially to that top part. I don't like that at the front.
I think our mindset has always been, we want to make it fit into canon like absolute, as if it was season, like I've said recently, like season 8 of Voyager or season 9 of or 8 of DS9, and this sort of ship is a little bit too far. Obviously, if you push it, 10 years post, but then some of the details should be pushed as well, so it'd be great to sort of really delve in. I mean, most of these designs are rushed in some extent, but yeah, it'd be great to certainly look back and think, how would we tweak it, do it ourselves. Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my final thought. It's a cool design. It looks great from some angles, other angles not so much. I just want to know the purpose behind it, and really good.
And it's certainly one of the, I'm going to say best, but not necessarily quality sense. More like people know about it. It's created discussion, and it is like a well known. It's one of the best in terms of that. It's like almost the Lunar class in terms of, obviously that's a bit more mainstream. This is kind of like the level below, the black market version of a famous Trek ship. This is one of those ones, and it's great. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk to the designer. I'd love to get the model. Obviously, I mean, we can see the 3D model here. It obviously exists. If anyone has this 3D model, please let us know. Email trekyards@hotmail.com. We use Lightwave. We go to a full episode on her because, hey, as we often see, Stuart, in motion, it could and would feel different. So if you have a model, let us know, because it'd be cool to work with.
That's right. And if you want to support the show, you can do so by clicking our Patreon link in the description below. Help us make more of these shows. Find the designers of these ships and learn the reasoning behind them. Or you can head on over to trekyards.com and give us a one-time donation there as well to help out.
Yep.
So there you have it.
And just the free ways, obviously, just share this show anyway. I think fans would enjoy it. Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, anywhere, because we love looking at interesting ships, stations, tech, all the good stuff. So, Stuart, until next time, I am Commander Coffins.
And I'm still Captain Foley. Talk to you soon, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.